Hello Indie Game fan, the Steam summer sale is wrapping up in a couple of days, so take the opportunity to go through my videos for some great games on discounts, where this video covers titles which are 80% off, which makes it a no-brainer to pick up. Let's begin with Mana Spark, an underrated pixel art action roguelite that's definitely worth a look at this price. You know the drill, not too deep with the story or lore, but it's a great feeling game to play with tight controls. And while it's certainly a smaller roguelite in comparisons to the titans in the genre, I do think that this developer is worth supporting, and I'm very curious to see what they will make next. Everything is 80% off for the Steam Summer Sale 2021. So goes the joke, since the aptly named Everything is one of the most interesting sandbox simulation games out there. If you enjoy nature documentaries, this game will give you a similar vibe, only instead of Planet Earth, this is Planet Weird instead. I love how nonsensical the movement of the animals are in this game, simply rolling around, but the narration certainly adds to the charm. As the name suggests, you are able to control and become, well, everything in this world, taking control of animals, plants, and even inanimate objects like rocks, down to the microscopic level and even up to the vastness of space. Some would argue how much game there is here in quotes, but it's certainly an experience worth having. If you enjoy beat-em-up titles, Mother Russia Bleeds from 2016 is one of interest, although do be warned, this is a hyper-violent entry about maniacal prisoners on drugs that seek to overthrow a criminal authority. It is one of the most gruesome settings in an alternate USSR, where every violent, sick, and twisted concept is represented here. There are 4 playable characters that do control differently, but Streets of Rage this is not, although I do admire the pixel art. Most interestingly, this is from Le Cartel Studio, who went on to make the whimsical Heave Ho, showing such a range for this development team. I do think that the look and presentation of Another Star is very impressive, being a classic turn-based JRPG that goes to the extent of presenting the game with a fake CRT filter, the 4:3 resolution, and even warping the corners of the screen to make it akin to an old TV. This is a very classically designed JRPG, akin to early Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy, where our hero sets off on a quest to claim a fallen star, but things quickly spiral out of hand due to infighting and others all rushing to claim that power for themselves. There are quite a number of underrated JRPGs on Steam, all of which are super reasonably priced, and add to that the additional 80% discount makes this a no-brainer. A title that often comes up among the best puzzle and time manipulation games is the Sexy Brutale, a Groundhog Day mystery of sorts set in the titular casino mansion. Guests are being murdered over and over again in an endless time loop, so it is up to you to break the cycle. Memorize where everyone will be at different times of the day, getting items, disrupting the murderer, and solving the mystery as you spy on and eventually act on the knowledge that you have in order to do so. It's really stylish as well in terms of vibe and presentation, where I do like the early 90s adventure game look as well, although I understand it's not for everyone. Still, if you enjoy murder mysteries and detective titles, this is one to pick up. Developers State of Play Games always makes games which are simply beautiful, and while they have pivoted to Apple Arcade with their latest title, South of the Circle, I do think that their offerings on Steam is still worth a play, with Lumino City being the title of interest. It's a puzzle-adventure game where you explore the city, solving tactile puzzles in order to make your way through, almost Monument Valley-like in nature. Yes, it's from 2014, but the stylized look still works, and if you're craving for more, do check out the first game in the series named Loom as well. One gorgeous hidden gem from 2017 that did not seem to get enough traction is Ticket to Earth, a tactics RPG crossed with a tile matching match 3 style puzzle game. Moving over tiles of the same color on the battlefield will charge up your attacks, so it's a game about positioning and offense, and the blending of this into a tactics RPG is a fascinating concept. Add to that some beautiful comic book style character designs and one of the most gorgeous overworld maps that I've ever seen, and you got my attention. This War of Mine is perhaps one of the most depressing games out there, and has been grouped under a subgenre of games known as misery simulators, where it's inspired by real-life events of a city in Bosnia under siege in the 1990s. Rather than the shooty bang power fantasy of your Call of Duties and Battlefields of the world, this instead focuses on the civilian aspect of war, of people terrified by the circumstances and simply trying to find a way to survive. Lack of food and medicine, combined with the constant threat of death by soldiers and rival scavengers, paints a very grim picture, not to mention having to maintain your character's mental health as well. It's a poignant entry that's very different from the typical video game, so if you have not played this, I would encourage you to check it out.
It's hard to keep your attention these days. Stay with me? Good. This is Rainbow City. We need to go down to see its ugly heart. Guns, psychos, killers. They're all here for you. And unless you duck your way out, you will need some toys.
Ruiner was last seen on the channel in my video on the best cyberpunk games, where the stylish and brutal action title is not to be missed. Play as a psychopath on a mission to destroy the system, uncovering the truth and finding his kidnapped brother in the process. The variety in weapons and stunning visuals makes this a treat for the eyes, and being a Devolver Digital published title, does have more than a little in common with Hotline Miami. Love the character design and brutality of the action, making it a must-play at this price. Among the best precision platformers is The End Is Nigh, a so-called spiritual successor to Super Meat Boy since Edmund McMillen did split from Team Meat. In a world where Super Meat Boy Forever wasn't quite what many people expected, if you're looking for a challenging platformer with plenty of depth, secrets and collectibles, this is the title to get. Play as a blob named Ash in the post-apocalypse, content to stay at home and play video games, that is, until his game console breaks and he sets out to find a friend. Interestingly, rather than a level-based structure, this takes place in a contiguous world with interconnected levels, which means plenty of places to hide collectibles and secrets. Despite the simple colour scheme, there are a surprising number of different biomes and areas, each with their own unique mechanic, and there are also extra hard retro stages as well, so all the hallmarks of a fantastic one of these. Again, at 80% off, it's difficult not to get this if you don't already own it, taking the number 1 spot. For a look at upcoming action platformers, watch this video and I will see you after the jump.